if your soul is so hardened that only the triumph of violence can soften its scars, enjoy the massacre of the fearsome Flesh Gorger! Today, we will try to kill him again!
Ulfar, the big bad space wolf that joins you in Act 3. Ulfar is thematically one of my favourite companions, being a space wolf. Love Space Marines, love my Space Wolves, love my Vikings, as you can tell from the live streams based on the amount of tattoos I have. Ulfar, thanks to DLC 2, finally has a reason to go back into heavy gunners, and God, am I happy about that. There are two main builds that you can use with him. The advanced heavy stubber, because you don't really want to waste the heavy bolters on him, because Ulfar's main weakness is that he has no access to rate of fire gear. Unfortunately, this means he'll always be a weaker Argenta. However, we're going to build him differently from Argenta to fulfill a slightly different role, and there are ways that you can get around this. The other alternative build for him is a Flamer build, because Ulfar's very strong with a Flamer, so he has one of the best ones in the game by the Pyre. So I'm going to show you his Heavy Gunner build, and I have the alternate Flamer build on his character sheet. And yes, the big bad space wolf is a raging flamer. The first thing we need to do with Ulfar is to go through his rank 1, tier 1 stuff. We need to see what's going on here, but also we need to understand that because of his black carapace, Ulfar does not expend MP whilst moving, and he gets full dodge bonuses whilst in power armor. This is very unique to him. Ulfar also comes with some higher strength and toughness, so he is a pretty tanky boy, even if he doesn't have any talents for damage mitigation. Ulfar will never be the same tank that Heinrich's, Ablard, or even Cabela is, and he'll never do the damage of any of those plus Argenta. However, he does do what he needs to do fairly okay. So let's have a little look at what Alcat decided to give him. So Ulfar starts with Running Gun, being a soldier, and then he picks up Awareness, gets Reverend Slaughter, Firearms Mastery. For some reason, they give him Unpredictable, a talent that is more effective if you can use cover on a character that cannot use cover. Who knows? I'm not a game dev. I wouldn't be able to answer why I do that. They go into Agility, Rapid Reload, which is fairly good because you do reload a lot with him. Agility, Controlled Shot, which can be useful because Ulfar's not the most movable, so it's good to not accidentally blast companions. He gets Ballistic Skill and Combat Master, most likely because their intention was to have him in the middle of all enemies with his bolt pistol and a melee weapon. He gets Alacrity, so he increases his dodge based on his number of shots. He gets Firearm Mastery Upgrade 2, which increases his rate of fire. This is incredibly good for Ulfar. It will help boost his bolt pistol, his bolters, and his heavy weapons. For some reason, they pick Tenderize at rank 10, even though Ulfar can't see an area weapon till level 40+. Don't know why they did that. More Ballistic Skill, Rapid Fire, Demolition, Perception, Dueling Mastery, so he can parry better. He is quite good at that. Unfaltering Fire, so he doesn't lose any damage on Rapid Fire. And Dual Weapon Combat. Dual Weapon Combat is going to be quite useful. You can't equip 2 pistols on Ulfar or 2 melee, which would actually be really fun. But he does work dual wield quite well, and Pair Holster is going to be quite useful for him. This is one of the few cases where It Will Not Die is actually quite good. He gets Demolition, and they give him Firearm Mastery 1, which again doesn't make any sense on Ulfar because he doesn't expend MP anyway, but you do get +4 MP when you use this, so maybe that's going to be more useful to get him into position. His rank 2, which is also level locked, is a Arc Militant. Now they take Kick First Swing of it and Martial Art. With his Power Boots, he has 0 AP kicks, so it's not that bad. Steady Superiority comes in at rank 4. Rank 5, we get some Bliss Skill and some AP increases, and this is going to be the points where we finally actually get to start making the build after level 20. Now, Always Ready is very important because having those 2 stacks versatility so you can use Reckless Rush is great. Get Wildfire and Heavy Weapons Proficiency after picking up some Toughness. The skills that you're probably going to want to pick up for him are Athletics and Demolition. If you've already got characters covering them, you could potentially do Carouse, but Carouse doesn't really add that much, so it's going to be up to you. You could even go Awareness on Ulfar. So I'm at this build going for Demolition, but one of the most important abilities we can get here is Broad Expertise. It boosts his weapon skill by his ballistic skill. Very important because he is a a mixed attacker as well as a heavy gunner. We get some perception, breaking point, which is going to help get our heavy weapons online. Now, and the most important talent on the build, Arms Master. Killing an enemy with a melee attack makes all the Arc Militant's range attacks this turn cost 1 AP less, and vice versa. This means you can do 1 AP burst fires and 1 AP melee area swings. Incredibly important for the build, and you'll see why when we go through the weapons. More demolitions, more agility, steady superiority upgrade 4. You're always going to pick the soldier one first to get that rate of fire, because that's what Ulfar needs, because he doesn't have any gear for it. And then if you on another turn, you can use those superiority to get an extra attack. I like to get dependable early because you want even more armor, because it's the only way Ulfar can stop himself from dying, because he has no mitigation talents. We get ballistic skill and overpower. Our heavy guns are online, though you'll normally pick him up at level 36 thanks to the DLCs. So yeah, no, this is going to be very, very useful to have. At level 15, we get Reckless Rush because we need more MP, and it also gives us stacks of versatility. We get Heavy Gunner to reduce the cost of our heavy weapons. We then get some Toughness, Athletics, and then Adaptability. This will start increasing our critical hit chance. We're going to take more Toughness, more Perception. We're going to take Solid Projectile Weapon Expert because it gives a +2 minimum damage to our actual stubber. So yeah, you're going to want that. It's going to help keep him in the game. And lastly, Stay Superiority Upgrade 1, 2% bonus to hit chance for every attack. As we move into Exemplar, you're going to see his build start coming online, and this might even be the point where you meet him. Ulfar, his job is going to be to pick off squishies. You want to get a melee kill fairly early on to make your burst fires cost 1 AP. You'll then start using heavy amounts of burst to pick off all the trash mobs and also add degraded defense stacks to the boss. Ulfar might not be the one to solo the encounter, but he's definitely going to make sure you do it by picking off all the things. If only he had more ways to generate movement, but unfortunately he is missing some gear for that, like rate of fire gear, movement gear, stuff like that would make Ulfar much better. Now that Argenta has her new Sororitas helm, she's doing 9 times his damage by endgame. But again, I know it sounds doom and gloomy, but I still think we can use Ulfar. So at rank 1, we take Peak Condition, which gives us extra strength based on his toughness. Very important here, because Ulfar has a lot of toughness. We get Swift Slaughter, which is going to be very important to get those running guns. More Demolition, Critical Versatility, so when we're using our stacks here, we're going to actually have more crit damage. Ballistic Skill, and then we pick up Brutal Hunter. So we get 15% critical hit chance against targets, bleeding effects, or with 50% or less wounds. So yes, good. Rank 4, we take Entrench. The reason we take Entrench is you can give Ulfar Metabolic Overcharge, and then you can entrench it to save it and bank it. And then next time when you finest hour him, you can then run and gun and have a crap ton of AP, and that's how you solo encounters. More Demolition, Degrade Defense, incredibly important. Degrade Defense is what keeps Ulfar's damage up, because Ulfar's damage is non-existent because he has low rate of fire, and he doesn't get the same boost that regular soldiers do because of the gear limitations. We then take Contempt for the Weak. We do 20% more critical damage against stun, prone, or blinded targets, and with our kick, we'll be getting that up. We get Ballistic Skill Fired Up, which will attacks will start increasing. Then we get Devastating Attack. This is very good because we can use it to knock more things prone with our burst fires. So yes, very good. And we can also inflict bleeding and slowed with our melee attacks, but I tend to use it for the big burst fires. More agility. Then we get Breaking Attack. So we also reduce enemies' armor and toughness on those devastating attack big bursts. Grenadier, very important to get out those smoke grenades. Ulfar can't use stims, which is something else that holds him back, and he can't use Medicae, but he can use Iron Eye grenades to make sure he's doing the damage. Athletics, Eager for Battle, more AP, more win. Then rank 10, more AP, more win. Rank 11, we get Muzzle Velocity. The reason we take this late is this is going to be around the time you get the Advanced Heavy Stubber. This is going to be Ulfar's main weapon. We get Athletics, Rack and Ruin, more Athletics, Exploit Weakness. Again, all these Athletics takes, you can take something else. Exploit Weakness. Yes, we can increase our damage based on enemy having missing armor or missing deflection. We can do this ourselves. More agility, more toughness, athletics. Then we get vital points, another big damage booster here. Enough bullets for everyone, so that means our second attack in a turn does more damage. Preferred targets, which means that yeah, we can get more crit chance and more crit damage here. So another very good one. Accustomed to Glory will increase our damage when people are using heroic axe, and you'll tend to have 2 straight away. I take Power Weapon Expert here. You can take Chain Weapon Expert if you're using a chain sword, or if you're using one of his axes or his power sword, you want Power Weapon Expert. We then pick up Dash because there's no other talents for us to take here because the stances are absolutely terrible and just lower his damage. More toughness, we get Extermination, Focal Point, and finally an AP increase. This is going to be what finishes bringing Ulfar online, and these are all of his talents. Okay, so now we're going to look at Ulfar's gear. So he does really like the pair holster because if you wildfire and critical with his pistol, you then get another 0 AP pistol attack. So it is very good to lower the cost of your stuff, and so that's for 1 AP and get 2 burst fires. Something good for him late game, Fury Incarnate, one of the really good ways to get up some crit damage. I like Echo of Victory here because you have high armor pen weapons. It just increases your damage, so you're within 5-star radius. Having 20% more damage is pretty good. You can also use his Hellbrute Horn trophy here to lower his defensive stats, and it will benefit from being in Combat Locus and Frontline to increase his damage. Pretty good. You don't have many choices of his power armor, but you do get fairly good deflection and fairly good armor. Early on, you can use the peculiar trinket, so he starts with temporary wounds based on his armor deflection. So again, that's pretty good. Act 5, you get Emperor's Justice, so overpenetration of weapons is increased by Bliss score, but this is going to be pretty late game. Most of the game you're going to be seeing his glorious main because there's not much else going on there. You do want to get Shroud of the Dauntless, which you can get from the Frozen Palace, which is whenever the wielder performs a heroic act or desperate measure, they get 2 AP and 6 MP along with 22 temporary wounds. Being a Deathworld character, that gets down line. You can't change his gloves. It would be nice to have an upgrade of them that could, you know, give him some rate of fire. Can't upgrade his boots, but 0 AP kicks with extra damage is pretty bloody good. Weapon-wise, I've got the Singer of Fearsome Sagas, which you find outside the final boss room. So before then, you're going to want a different power weapon on him, one of his other axes or one of his chainswords. Or even in Act 5, you pick up a power sword, but the power sword's going to be weaker than everything you already have. I keep his Astartes bolt pistol on him. Burden of Servitude does not seem to work. Its ability to increase its damage doesn't work, and it doesn't work with pair holster. That weapon is buggy as hell. It was considered a rifle until a few patches ago. I think the devs need to have a second look at that. But this one, if you look at that max ammo at 24, if you have an Astra Militarum commander in your squad, you can make this incredibly powerful because, yeah, that rate of fire stuff, God, it makes him so strong. If you have Ulfar with like compensating gloves, he is the strongest character in the game. If you had Ulfar as a warrior, again, the strongest character in the game, but gear limitations put him to just a comfy mid-tier. The important thing here, and why he's now usable as a Longfang again, is the Advanced Heavy Stubber. It comes with a base rate of fire 10, fairly good damage, which we get another +2 to increase, and yeah, destructible cover hit by this heavy stubber is instantly destroyed. Both destructible and indestructible covers are automatically over penetrated, so you just get blasted. With his 30% increase and then rapid fire, yeah, this is going to do a lot, and it's going to also build up a lot of stacks of alacrity and critical damage. Like I said, the alternative builds are going to be the area attacks. We'll look at that, but basically what you're going to want to do in it is get a melee kill, start doing 1 AP burst fires, and then swapping between melee and burst fires. When you do use your heroic act for the soldier one, you're going to want to have your pistol out because it's going to do more damage on those single shots, and you don't really want to be shooting 13 times with this thing because, yeah, it's going to be quite annoying to do. You can do it that way and you can have 13 extra attacks, but I don't like clicking that much. But that's going to be the gear brought through. I hope you've been enjoying the footage in the background and watching this guy run around and picking off things like an actual assassin. But let's have a quick look at the alternative builds. So as always, below in the link description is the written guide and the spreadsheet. We've got some alternatives here, but the alternative build for him is him using his pyre. So the pyre is going to work the same, but instead of heavy gunners, you're going to be focusing on your bolt pistol, your melee, and your flamethrower. Your flamethrower, like I said, Ulfar has one of the highest area attack damages of anything in the game. It's a shame he doesn't have any shotguns, because knockback shotguns on him would be hysterical. But yes, this is going to be the alternative build with the main build over here. These are the two main playstyles. Yeah, and again, you take Arms Master and Broad Expertise on both. Those are the two most important builds for keeping Ulfar relevant and the two most important talents. But I hope you've enjoyed this. We're almost done. This is the first of the X3 companions, and there's just one more to go, and then we've done all the companions. Let me know how your run's going, and I'll see you all around next time. Revan out.